Jeanette, to our conversation about leadership through conversation. Totally appreciate the idea that we're going to go down memory lane and remember the times we worked together and what type of impact we had. So why don't you tell our viewers the first time that we worked together and how that all came about?
Of course. Hi, good morning, Brenda. I was working as the Chief Financial Officer for the Montezuma Regional Transit Authority here in Massachusetts. And it became really evident to me early on in my contribution that the financial ERP system that the organization was utilizing had not been fully implemented and was not being used fully to its capability, and that the financial reporting was suboptimal because of those factors. And so I knew I needed some support, and I really needed a unique contributor who could combine technology competency with financial competency. And so I reached out to a recruiting firm. They sent me multiple candidates, and one of those was Brenda. And she clearly brought to the table the components that I just mentioned, which were going to be critical to getting things straightened out. So we did a re-implementation of Great Plains. Brenda established financial reporting. And I also engaged Cesar Martinez to help with enhancing internal controls. So there was a very low level of internal control. And the organization had some risk around their grant funding because of internal control deficiencies. And Cesar Martinez assisted with taking them from a low level of internal control compliance to a much higher level. So the resources from AccuComp were highly valued, and Brenda, your contributions were pivotal.
Well, I felt that I learned a lot watching you as a new CFO, because it had been a while since most of the CFOs I had met were aged in their roles. It was great to see almost a startup feeling that you brought to MART, and your real dedication to moving it forward, making sure it's properly reported and monitored. And it was a pleasure to work with you and feel that, hey, not only did we solve some problems, but we actually solved some problems they didn't know they had. So that was even better. That's the fun of working with clients, is to not only know what they think they need, but kind of bring some little extra oomph to the table to serve them more and better than they expected.
And that was certainly what my experience working with you, for sure.
The next time around, we were working in government. Could you give some background as to how that came about?
Certainly. So I was the Chief Financial Officer for the Executive Office of Technology Services and Security for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and had been in my role for a while. And one of the areas of concern for me was that there was no formal financial reporting system. There were databases that had been homegrown, and there was a single point of failure, meaning there was one resource in the organization that knew their way around the database, how to put information, or actually how to put data in and get information out. And there was no one else who understood the internal workings of that. So I knew that that was really a risk point for the organization, and that we needed contemporary and enhanced ability to see financial information to make decision-making faster. So the person that came to mind was Brenda. She was between engagements, and so the timing worked perfectly. I felt really grateful. She came on board. She documented the existing system and created training plans for the finance team, so that the immediate risk of having a single point of failure was mitigated.
I so appreciate having worked with you and been able to make contributions. I feel that I walked away with a lot of insights, but the best thing is to work for a visionary and be able to say, I did this, I accomplished this, and feel a total sense that I earned your respect, and I really appreciate the fact that you continue to seek me out when things work out great. And it was a real pleasure having worked for you in the past, and I look forward to working with you in the future. So
thank you for all your contributions, Brenda.
So with that, we'll end this session.